Hey, hi, hello, and good afternoon. My name is Amanda, and welcome to Harmony Portal Tarot Live. How is everyone this fine Saturn day? We are here for our Eclipse Portal special eclipse reading in Aquarius, Reborn for the Revolution, is what I'm calling this one. How is everybody? Check on in. Crazy hair, don't care. Yeah, we did have to reschedule this one from last Wednesday, which would have been like the 11th, I believe, because I was having an upgrade to my internet, fiber optic internet upgrade. And the funny thing is, it's 1 year from today, right now, this is the last day basically of next year. So a year from today is the very last day of the cross of planning. We are on less than a year countdown starting tomorrow. And it's funny because I was upgraded to new fiber, and we are literally being upgraded to a new operating system. The underlying energy that's kind of acting as the operating system that we've been under the last 400 years, it's all we've known in this incarnation, is going to shift very soon, very soon. And we're already hearing, like I was saying in yesterday's live stream, yes, yesterday, I've been live twice in a row now. We are now hearing, and have been maybe some of us for a while now, the echoes of the future. We are hearing it, and it is like us being reborn for the revolution, and heavy on the evolution, or revolution meaning re-evolution, going back, sloughing off the ego, the masks, the false self, the structures, the programming, the subliminal control, mind control, and we are going back to the authentic blueprint. It's not all going to happen at once, as we know, but this is something that we are going through. And I'm just glanced over here, and we have Miss Empress herself just staring at me from the back of the deck over here. And the funny thing is, yes, it's like we are right now pregnant with this new opportunity, possibility that, a lot of us maybe didn't ask for this on a human level, but on a spiritual level, we knew what we were getting ourselves into. Let's just put it that way. Whether we want to look at this as some sort of prison planet, I should say, a reincarnation net, or however, if you decide, or you, what's the word I'm looking for? You want to believe that you incarnated here on your own volition, on your spirit's own volition, absolutely. The fact that we knew all along that this would happen, but we were kind of, while the Matrix, I won't even call them creators. They don't create anything. They siphon our creative life force energy to make anything, and they can only make a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy is basically how they operate. But we'll say they structure things. But they have structured this false reality basically to keep us suppressed. And we are feeling that the suppression is, it hasn't been serving us probably this whole incarnation that we've been here, and many, many other incarnations in the past, but enough is enough. We know, again, like the labor pains of this Empress, that eventually we may not have asked for this on a human level, but we all asked for this on a spiritual level. And many of us actually volunteered to come here. If you want to look at yourself like that, as a volunteer that came here, and then you're thinking like, no, I would never do that. That's your human aspect thinking, I would never do that. We knew what we were signing up for, and we knew we were so much more powerful than any Matrix trickster or the Matrix itself. Just one of you out there, just you, not everyone else included, but just you, is more powerful than this Matrix. And you have all the tools, much like the magician, to overcome this Matrix. All right. So we are going to be talking about some notes that I've made here. We are having this eclipse. It is at 4 degrees of Aquarius. The sun and the moon come together for a new moon, aka solar eclipse. Lunar is a full moon eclipse, which we will be having the lunar eclipse in 2 weeks on March 3rd, 2 weeks from the 17th. I'm getting ahead of myself. The solar eclipse that I'm talking about, the eclipse in Aquarius, is taking place on February 17th. And 2 weeks from then, March 3rd, we're having the lunar eclipse in Leo in Purva Falguni Nakshatra, which is the star of fortune. This is a creative reset, social, what did I write here? Reflectivity? I don't know what I wrote here. But yeah, it's a star of fortune, and socially coming together for the greater good is really what's coming through here. And in this Aquarius, we're going to get more into that as the time comes, but for this Aquarius solar eclipse that's happening on February 17th, it's happening around about 5:13 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can adjust for your time zone. And we are at exact, this is a, what do they call it? Ring of Fire eclipse. But most of us in the Northern Hemisphere, I don't think will be seeing this eclipse. This is more of a Southern Hemisphere eclipse. I did not check the exact location where this is visible. And usually when it's visible in your area, you feel more of an impact. But I will actually say that this is just such a power surge that's coming, like a big trigger for what Mars is actually doing in this, and we'll get to that. But I'm just like so excited to tell you guys all of this stuff, and I feel like I'm just stumbling all over my words. But yeah, there's so much activity in this sign of Aquarius, and specifically the sun and moon are in the nakshatra of Dhanishta, which is symbolized by the drum. Most specifically, that's what most people associate this nakshatra with, is the drum, but also the flute and basically music, symbolized by music, rhythm, and abundance, but also the music and the rhythm of nature coming together with nature's creatures, which we are included in that, to create this abundance, because nature itself is very abundant. Reality is very abundant, but we've been in this suppressed false matrix that makes abundance seem like it's not what's going on, but it's the lack and the poverty of everything that is the norm and the accepted. But it's actually the exact opposite. So they have literally gaslit us into believing that abundance could never be ours, or, a lot of us have had to go through extensive healing or peeling, trauma, releasing of trauma, I should say, to remember that abundance is our birthright, that abundance is the default setting here on this planet, but they have overridden that with their lack, their control systems, and what have you. But with this eclipse happening in Dhanishta, this is the burning away of ego. But on the flip side of this nakshatra, people can become even more entrenched and embroiled in their ego. And you will be seeing that all over the world stage. And this eclipse, cycle is taking place from why did I say October? February 17th through March 3rd is kind of the 2-week eclipse gateway portal here. But we will see these effects really start to amp up over these next 6 months. So it's not just, okay, day of the eclipse, it all happens. No. I mean, things can happen, and there can be very specific trigger points on those eclipse days, or within 3 days before, during, or after those eclipse days, which again, those eclipse days are February 17th, 3 days before, during, after, and then March 3rd for the lunar eclipse, 3 days before. So, the very end of February, March 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and then 4th, 5th, 6th are kind of the really potent trigger days. But we also have the next 6 months of these reverberating energies. And the very cool thing, reborn for the revolution, or re-evolution, as I like to call it, because this eclipse is happening exactly on the sun, or the solar point of the cross of the sleeping phoenix that we are moving into in about a year from today. So this is extra potent, because this is our last, this is kind of like, we've been taking aim this whole time, and today, and the effects, sorry, not today specifically, but leading up to this eclipse on the 17th, which, we're 3 days out, so we could be feeling this already, really. Today forward, it's like, we're not just taking aim anymore. We've pulled the trigger. We're ready to go. And I will go to my ephemeris here, because I didn't have room. I mean, I could have flipped it or wrote more notes, but I'm like, it's just easy for me to go to my ephemeris, which I already have pulled up here. The planetary, and this again is the sidereal/Vedic placements, the true sidereal placements here. So yes, we will have our sun and moon, of course, both in Dhanishta Nakshatra in Aquarius at 4 degrees For your Western lovers out there, this is going to put this closer to 27, 28 degrees of Aquarius, which is kind of that end point of the sign. But we will also have Mercury in Aquarius. For my Western lovers, that's going to be moving to Pisces. Venus in Aquarius, again, moving to Pisces for my Western lovers out there. We will have, let's see, trying to find, Mars is in Capricorn, but it is still in Dhanisha Nakshatra, and it is about 8 degrees away from the eclipse. So it's more like the couple days after the eclipse that Mars, which is in its exaltation point in Capricorn in Dhanisha Nakshatra, currently per Vedic astrology, is very powerful. And when Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn in Dhanisha, this is a big trigger point. This acts as a power surge. Again, we've been seeing things with solar flares. This is a big indication that something's going on with that. But when Mars actually does cross this eclipse degree point, which will be shortly here, I don't know what day specifically, but coming up, once Mars passes that, that's yet another trigger day. Let me get into more of the astrology that we're dealing with on day of that kind of acts as almost a birth chart for this eclipse. And then we'll find out, we'll just I'll plug in some dates here and see when Mars is exactly hovering over that trigger point in Aquarius. It's about 8 degrees away right now, and Mars usually takes about 2 years to go around the whole zodiac. So it's not going to be very, very long from now. But you may see a lot of craziness on the world stage on that day or around about that day for sure. We will have Jupiter in Gemini, an air sign. It is forming an air trine to this eclipse at 21 degrees. So it's exactly conjunct Mercury, but of course through a trine because that's in Gemini and Mercury is in Aquarius. And we have Saturn still in Pisces. I think it just moved into Aries for my Western lovers out there. Of course, the nodes are always associated with the eclipses or mixed up in the eclipses. We have the North Node or Rahu at 15 degrees Aquarius and K2 or the South Node at 15 degrees of Leo, which we will get more into the South Node energy when we are talking about the full moon lunar eclipse that's coming up in 2 weeks from the 17th. And then the outer planets, we can kind of pay attention to, especially because Neptune is exactly, as of the day of the eclipse, exactly forming an exact conjunction once again to Neptune. Saturn and Neptune, I can't remember when they were retrograde or going in forward motion, but they've been kind of doing this little dance because they're both slow moving planets. Neptune, of course, is a much slower moving planet than Saturn, but Saturn itself is still decently slow moving. So they've been kind of doing this dance back and forth with each other. And the really beautiful thing about this happening in the sign of Pisces, we are kind of considered in this age of Pisces, eventually moving into the age of Aquarius. And having Neptune in its home station in Pisces, it feels most at home. And having Saturn there with the veil of illusion, the planet of karma, with the planet of illusion or enlightenment, take your pick, one side of the coin or the other, you're going to see a lot of extremes. So you're going to see people super waking up and people super going back to sleep or just holding on with their cold, dead hands to the old system, especially as these two planets will continue over the next few years to be in the mix with each other. This is re-evolutionary energy just in that little bit of astrology right there. But the fact that we have, let's see, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars almost, but yet not quite. So we'll not count that one yet. So 3, Aquarius. So that's 4, or sorry, Rahu. We have, and then the moon. So 5 different planets or nodes going on in the sign of Aquarius per Vedic astrology, where they literally are in the sky, or the calculations are in the sky, on the precipice of what a lot of people just in the mainstream, if you say the age of Aquarius, most people know what you're talking about. If you say the cross of the sleeping phoenix, most people are going to know, huh? Or, the end of the Kali Yuga going into, I always forget the next Yuga. They might go, huh? Yes, we are at like a 26,000 so many 400-year cycle shift, a 400 plus cycle year shift. Um, there's like 4 or 5 different cycles that are ending in the next year, like boom, 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 like dominoes, just falling, falling, falling. So there's a lot going on. So we've kind of talked about the what and the where with the astrology and those placements. So let's talk about the why, and I guess part of the what, like what's going to happen and why is it going to happen. So as we talked about, there may be on one end of the spectrum a burning away of ego, massive ego death, stepping back into your true authenticity and power and true spirit. But on the very other flip side of that coin, of course, with all the duality on this planet, we're going to have people just absolutely embroiled in their ego. Um, they'll be forcing their will on others because they feel so out of control within themselves. But then those who are having these ego deaths are feeling so much more in control from the inside out. They're releasing or relinquishing a lot of control. But on the flip side of that, these people who are very entrenched in ego and false masks and the identity through different portions of the matrix that they've identified with, as it's collapsing and falling away, there's going to be a lot of anger, forcing of will, and the systems themselves. We can consider these more of, instead of a person, more of an egregore energy or a thought form kind of energy. They really, because for at least the last 400 years under the cross of planning, and then much, many, many years and maybe even millennia before that, playing into this false matrix system, we have given it so much of our time, our money, our effort, our blood, sweat, tears, our lives in some cases, just to fit in, just to have a place as a cog in the wheel of the machine. And a lot of us are saying, I'm opting out. I'm taking my power back. I'm removing my cog from this machine because it's mine, and not from this like selfish, it's mine, not in that kind of way, but in, oh my gosh, it's been mine the whole time. And it's not like you're going in and fighting anyone to take it back. You just literally call it back home and boom, whoop, there it is. So of course, as all of this is going on in our psyche and our spiritual, energetic realms, our etheric realms, our physical, mental, emotional realms, we're going to see a lot of chaos. It's very 5 of Wands energy, which we're going to pull cards on all of this as well. So, but I'm just making notes on just the astrology itself and what's going on. There's also going to be a lot of volatility in the financial networks, large organizations, emotions are running high, social and emotional friction, blowing your top, especially once Mars goes over this eclipse point. You're going to see a lot of anger, a lot of outbursts. Also massive solar activity, grid overload to where the grid may be literally blowing its top because there's just too much energy hitting it or reflecting through it. We have maybe potentially some sudden ambition or breakthroughs to obstacles that have been in your way, to all of the above that we've been talking about. And also in your, Danishta being a very creative sign, potential creative blocks being lifted, and creative blocks doesn't just I can't talk. It doesn't just coincide or cover your creative endeavors, but I always say your life is your creation. So any major block that you've been having in your life, be it a creative project, be it a career, financial issues, issues in a marriage, issues with family, issues with friends, just wanting a better, different life in some way that you felt stuck or suppressed or blocked, these blocks or suppressions, again, are lifting as this matrix is collapsing little by little, and sometimes big portions of it are having huge boulders thrown through it, energetically speaking. Excuse me, very thirsty day. But yes, those obstacles will start to lift, especially as you start going within and really tuning into your true essence. And a really great way to help yourself energetically navigate this energy is through physical exercise, physical activity. And it doesn't have to just look like straight up weightlifting or anything like that. Just dancing in your kitchen as you're making dinner. That's movement. That's, keeping this energy from finding a place and just settling in. You want it to keep flowing and going, especially with this eclipse happening in the sign of Danishta, it's about movement and rhythm. It's about getting back to your roots for some of you that have like musical talent or dancing talent in any way, or you just feel like that connection maybe to ancestors that had more tribal drumming or anything like that. It's just a really great time to just call all of those pieces of you that where you gave your power away back home, because it will start to dismantle this machine. I always say we're the ghost in the machine. I always say that. I think that's it for my notes. But yeah, we are basically about to go through this massive operating system upgrade. And it's not like we can opt out. Like sometimes if your phone's about to upgrade, you can usually say like, oh, I opt out. We can't opt out of this one. And we don't want to, because the system that's been operating behind the scenes and underlying everything is atrocious. So let's bring it on. That's my thought on it all. Let me just try to see about when Mars will be going over this eclipse point. I'm just kind of guesstimating here because I don't know how long it takes Mars to move about 8 degrees in the sky. I can't imagine it's going to take half a year or anything like that at all. Oh, it's doing that thing where it won't let me type very well. Let's see. We'll just go to May, sometime in May. And we'll just type that in and see. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, not even that long. Not even that long, you guys. Wow. Okay. I really overestimated there. Let's go maybe sometime in March and see. Okay, it's already past that point as of March 12th. So we're close. It's not far off. 27th of February. Let's just check that date. Okay, so probably around the 28th or the 1st of March. 28th of February, 1st of March is when Mars is going over that trigger point. So it is in this eclipse gateway still. So buckle up for that. Yeah, so this will be about 2 to 3 days before the lunar eclipse on March 3rd that Mars is going over that point. Okay. Yeah, I forgot how fast Mars does move until it goes retrograde, and it can be retrograde for what seems like forever. Yeah. Oh, you're doing your hair, getting downloads, tuned in the power blipped and kicked me out. Can you say interference, right? Well, this is a perfect example of these like almost like power surges that we're getting especially when Mars gets over that eclipse point, but we're already feeling it because it's in 24 degrees of Capricorn, and this eclipse is happening at 4 degrees of Aquarius. So yeah, about eight or so degrees away ish. Check my mouth on that. Let's pull some cards though. Let's just see what we need to know. And of course, we're going to start with our Alchemy of Spirit. This is such a fun one. Such amazing downloads and deep dives when we pull a card from this. And I like to use the book for this one because it's just so powerful for what we're trying to accomplish here. So let's just see what those of us watching now and on the replay need to know. It is so potent, and I'm sure you are feeling it, Brianna, because this is very close to the solar gate that's wrapped up in the cross of the sleeping phoenix going on. So yeah, very, very potent energy. All right, so what is the main theme that we need to, as far as our focus for our own personal journey, our own personal lives through this eclipse gateway over these next 2 weeks, and then the next 6 months that these eclipse energies are going to kind of be reverberating through the collective? Yes, an real activation, graduation, and recalibration. I love it. Ooh, we have 3. I heard keep going, so I'm going to keep going. I only want 1 because the more cards we get, it kind of waters down a main theme if we have too many going on. Just 1 card, please, Spirit, in alignment with my true spirit and all of the true spirits that are watching now and on the replay. What is it we need to make as our main point of focus? The feather with the 53. So the number 53 or even 35, because inverse numbers have been very prevalent with a lot of us, especially here on the live stream. We'll get a 12 and then a 21 or a 13 and a 31. So be looking for 35s and 53s, but we have the 53 with the feather. We've got some, I always forget the name of these birds here, but we got two of them, the feather, and we have the number 53. So let's just read from the book, and it came out upright, so I didn't shuffle that upside down or anything. So 53, the feather. This is the sign of faith and trust, and especially with how chaotic the mainstream media and maybe even some, I don't know, just scary events that are going on out there, with how volatile and chaotic those things are going to inevitably be, because these systems, this cross-planning, these corporations and organizations and governments, they don't want to lose their power, but they have to lose their power for the cross of the sleeping phoenix to rise from those ashes and wake up. We're waking up, and they can't put Pandora back in the box. They just can't. And that's why things look maybe worse than ever if you look at the news and just life in general. No, these things have always been going on. It's just been behind the scenes or hidden away, or maybe just a bit of it in our face or subliminally messaged to us in our media, music, movies, TV shows, all the things. But this is a sign to have faith and trust. Believe that you deserve it. All right, let's read. So a feather is an angelic sign, a playful and subtle way in which spirit manifests their presence. Finding a feather in your way means a positive response to something you've been asking for a long time. But it doesn't mean your desire will materialize out of the blue in front of your eyes. What it means is that in your heart and deep in your soul, you already have the answer and you know the way. Deep down, you know what you should do because you can feel it. You just need to trust yourself a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more every day, just more and more and more. Start trusting yourself. You just need to get used to working things out, to things working out for you. Especially if you've been someone who you give it all your all and you get peanuts back in response, or you polish something and perfect something and you put it out and it falls on deaf ears, or you feel unseen somehow. That's kind of a theme. A lot of us who have incarnated at this time to, go big or go home. In a lot of ways, when we tried to go big or go home in the past, it really falls flat. Or if we do, resonate with someone, it's just a handful of people. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because there's still a lot of potency and power just in that. But as more people wake up, more people are going to be hearing your signal or feeling your resonance to really want to ping off of you. Where before it was like trying to hook a standard Nintendo from the 80s up to 5G. It's just that doesn't compute. It doesn't compute. So the message could never go through. That's what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing not 5G, but 5D, but not like the new age, new earth 5D. This is more like, just thinks of it as like a level up or a level. I just heard retrograde, but switch, flip it, and I think it's Missy Elliott, something flip it and reverse it. Da, 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 da. I always forget the name of that song, but that's what I heard it, because there's something, okay, what I'm hearing, there's something this is totally maybe, I mean, obviously it's relevant because it's coming through. Something to do with the frequency that they put with the 5 and then the G, that they could have actually used a different hertz or frequency, and it would have actually revitalized and healed our bodies. But of course, that's not what they want. They put it out there literally as an energy, WEAPON. But our energy rising, what I'm seeing, re-evolution, we are almost like canceling out that signal to where it doesn't even penetrate our field anymore, because we've vibrated or resonated out of over this next year. And especially if you've been doing your detoxing, your purging of, all the garbage that they put in the air, the water, the food, the content that we consume with our eyeballs. If you do a great job of detoxifying yourself in all ways possible, you're going to see yourself vibrating right out of that frequency. Okay. So you can fly with the same passion you believe that you can fall. Yeah, start believing that you can fly with the same passion that you've believed that you can fall. But to do so, you need to take responsibility and understand that the choice is only yours. No outside authority is going to tell you your path or your way. Of course, mentors or teachers or friends or family members that you trust, that you talk to, can help validate things for you. Or, if you have questions like, what are my strengths? Because sometimes our loved ones can see blind spots in us that are really like pure beauty that we just don't see within ourselves. Or maybe we know it deep down, but we can't see it through our human eyes somehow. So sometimes, seeking outside, I won't even say approval because it's not like you're looking for approval, but I guess just almost like a second check and balance is almost how I'm seeing this. Yes. So, but to do so, you need to take responsibility and understand that the choice is only yours. And that is how you will take back your power. Accept this lovely sign you've received today, the feather. And where did I go? Where did I go? Accept this sign you've received today and open your heart to welcome the extraordinary magic that is already on its way. So, when this is in balance, which it was, this is about being optimistic and hopeful. Even if the world is a dumpster fire out there, you can still have that compassion or what have you, but we are moving out of that energy slowly and steadily. Yeah, you're experiencing angelic or, just spirit guardian protection, whatever you resonate with in that regard, and feeling like you deserve. Wow. I love that. So yeah, that's kind of a starting point for our reading here. I want to get two cards. Ooh, Roots of Abundance. We were just talking about the roots of abundance with that Dhanisha Nakshatra where this eclipse is taking place. But let's see. Ooh, it literally fell into my lap. So here we go. Quieting the mind. Especially with all that noise and chaos. It's almost like I'm seeing you're in the middle of a tornado or the eye of a hurricane where everything is still and quiet and unmoving, but not in such a way that there's stagnancy being had. It's in those quiet, uninterrupted moments of, just solitude where you can connect to your spirit, that you can bring through those downloads. So it says quieting the mind with the number 32 up here, which is a very chaotic number or just very busy, very adventurous, not resting on its laurels. So I think it's very potent that they actually gave this card that number, because that adds up to a 5, which is about change and chaos and conflict and friction. There's a lot of friction, but a lot of times when you have enough friction, you can create a flame. But it's going to take a lot of mindfully stepping out of the fray, turning off, stepping away from the internet, turning off the news. I think most of you do that anyway, but it still finds us in ways, especially if you're even on YouTube, like the news they'll just put it right there on your homepage without you giving it any permission, but there it is. Let's get one more from this deck. Anything else we need to know? Our little collective here watching now and on the replay. Ooh, this one feels very powerful. Willing release. And the best times you can release are during those quiet moments. It is almost not impossible, but almost impossible to be able to do the healing and peeling when you've got 400 things going on and, dogs are barking, kids are yelling, dinner's boiling over on the stove. These are just, prime examples of my life. No, lots of chaos going on all at once to where you almost just feel like shutting down sometimes. But that is when you are mindful about giving yourself the quiet time that you need to release or let go of the baggage that's been holding you down. Then in these chaotic moments, you can handle it a lot better than if you had not given yourself that quiet time to be in this energy of release. And then we have the 49 there that adds up to a 13. Yes. Oh my gosh, that beautiful divine feminine number. If you guys missed yesterday's live stream, we did talk a lot about the divine feminine and the energies rising. I think we spent like 40, 45, 49 minutes just talking. And that wasn't even my intention, but there it was. it just needed to come through. Yeah, so if you guys missed yesterday's live stream, feel free to check it out. Oh, Katie, I saw that she donated, or she was here earlier. You won our drawing yesterday. I don't know if I'm just now realizing I did not put your timestamps yesterday, Katie. I apologize for that. Yeah, but if you want your timestamps, there they are from yesterday. There you go. Yes. So, um, yeah, your donation from Wednesday, I applied yesterday. So, all right, here we go. What else do we need to know right now? Those of us watching now and on the replay about this eclipse energy and just moving forward, mixed with all the other energy going on. And also, caveat to say, this is what the Matrix has constructed for us to experience, for good or for bad. You can always, and I mean always, step in or out of or to the side of anything that is going on and just say, yeah, not for me anymore, Matrix, and bypass all of this. Slowly but steadily, we are gaining more access to our free will. So before, where we may have been like, I don't want to deal with this Matrix crap, and then it just happens anyway, we're starting to see, just I'm seeing a lot of prime examples where people would try things and fail, try things and fail. Well, now they're starting to have success with utilizing free will. So if you don't want to have financial volatility going on in your reality or whatever else, you can bypass this just by connecting with your spirit, again, your quiet time, and literally releasing the hold that the false matrix zodiac wheel has on you. Because you don't, I mean, obviously we need some sort of program to be running, but a lot of the programs that have been installed or messed with in our operating systems are not ideal, and a lot of times not even in alignment with our true spirit, but our true spirit kind of picked and, kind of cherry picked what astrological placements for us to incarnate with that really do resonate with our soul in a lot of ways, so that we could find our way back home to ourselves and then take it off like a coat or sloughing it off like an old skin. All right. So what else do we need to know? All right. We have the Five of Swords. And every time I get this card in this deck specifically, I see this as the Eight of Swords, and the guy has started to dismantle his mental prison. Because basically the Eight of Swords is the Matrix. It's the mind control. I mean, really, if you can bypass your mind and go back to the original architecture of knowing from your gut, from your womb, the matrix would be dissolved in a moment if you could hold that steady and not allow the mind to keep hijacking. But they've put too many codes and overrides and programs in place in the subconscious mind to keep that mind almost ever going for most of us. But again, us taking our power back is us dissolving that mental mind chatter matrix that has nothing to do with us. Because you've heard me say it here time and time again. Just like you pick up a pen to write something or some scissors to cut something, we should be able, or a hammer to, nail something into the wall. We should be able to power up our brain and use it to think out equations or troubleshoot or problem solve or do something, use it for your purposes, whatever those purposes may be. But a lot of times we are just minding our own business and an old song pops in, and yes, sometimes spirit can talk through our mind waves as well. But that trauma that happened to you when you were 5, that friend that never, called you back in 3rd grade and you were so sad about it, or, so that loved one that passed away that you didn't get to say goodbye to. A lot of times, thoughts about past events that were traumatic will just kind of pop in out of nowhere. That's not your spirit usually doing that. It's usually a lot of this hive mind stuff that they've been, and interestingly enough, a lot of the people that you would consider, either they've completely just allowed their soul to, or spirit to step back into the recesses. Think of Homer Simpson stepping back into the bushes and disappearing. And allowing the hive mind NPC false matrix net to just take over. You see it all the time. These people are just like driven by the matrix, the hive mind. But the more that you quiet the mind and go back to the heart and the spirit, you're going to be able to release those confines of that false matrix, dismantling it from the inside out. There's no revolution we need to go have out in public at some place here, there, or everywhere. We don't have to fight anything. The best way we can quote unquote fight is to literally dismantle the matrix from within us, because as within, so without. And that's what they want you to forget, because they want you out there fighting, because that feeds and fuels their their net. That's what they want. Now, there's a time and a place for protecting and standing up, absolutely. But for the most part, the most potent and powerful way to fight back is to dismantle it from the inside out. You're the ghost in the machine. So get in there, dismantle it from within your own field, your own mind, body, spirit, energy, and getting it out. All right. Anything else we need to be aware of? Any upcoming events we need to be aware of specifically? Let's tune into that. Oh, well, interestingly enough, there's no big plan or plot that they have that can kick us while we're down if we are actively doing our work. It will only aid to fuel the work we're doing. Any external bad news or event, false flag, whatever it is they're planning or trying to do, it's going to backfire on them. All right, anything else we need to know? Just in general of this. Ooh. The Phoenix Fire Horse is back out. Look at that. Oh, and also the day of the eclipse, I forgot to mention. That's the first day or the kickoff of the Chinese New Year. The Fire Horse. A lot of people are like, oh, January 1st, new year, new zodiac. But actually, sometimes it's in January, sometimes it's in February. It's not ever on just the same day. I don't know how they calculate when that turnover is. But I'm a water dog. The zodiac dog and then the element of water. We're in the year of the fire horse. Dogs and horses. My mom's a horse. My sister's a horse. Wrigley's a horse. Of course. I get along so well with horses. Like, we're besties. So this energy really does help me a lot. Just be able to, that water horse energy of like, let's go. In a universal year number 1, let's go. This is really exciting for me personally. But for those of you, you can even go on Google or wherever you want to look and just type in, if you just know like, oh, I'm a dog or I'm a rabbit or I'm a horse or whatever, but you don't know the element associated with that, you can just type in your birthday and then say Chinese zodiac, and it will, usually Google will be able to find it, or you can go Chinese zodiac calculator with element, because you want to get also the water, the fire, the wood, the whatever. Because they have the different elements. To click that in, and then you can also Google how that will correspond with the current universal year energy of the fire horse that we're going through. But yeah, lots of quick moving energy going on. Look at all those like lightning strikes. Again, lots of solar activity over these next 6 months. I'm seeing like earthquake again, volcanic eruptions again, maybe even some auroras again coming up. Yeah, Ace of Wands, look at those almost aurora-looking skies. But good ideas. We're going to be struck with so many good ideas. So if you're someone who's already on a mission with something, write these ideas down potentially for a future event, or if one of them's something you really want to go work on it. A lot of amazing downloads are coming through at this time. And then we have the 22. In this deck, they have a couple of extras after the world, which is 21. 22 is deja vu. I think 23 is the nightmare card. We got that yesterday. I don't remember what the other ones are, but deja vu. But look at the cracked mirror. And this, he's looking in the mirror and his reflection isn't facing him. It's facing away. So think of that. The inverted reality is being re-inverted back to, or basically, if something collapses in on itself, it's like it gets sucked into a black hole is how I'm envisioning this. So this is about, you may even see that the way that, certain relationships or what have you that would act as a mirror before are somehow like not accessible to you anymore. But this is actually for a good thing, it's a good thing, because certain people, certain situations, jobs, places that you used to go just don't vibrate or resonate at your higher resonance anymore, that you will very easily know when to let certain things go. And there's a massive like shattering or clearing of past timelines that are still keeping you anchored into a victimhood or a victim mode that are being taken offline. And then we have the 10 of Wands. Yes. And we have here the Kraken. It's very much a tower moment. Look at the ship that's completely on fire. We got the Kraken just like completely embroiled with this, taking it down. Very huge symbolism here. You know, they usually have like 8 arms. We have the 8 of Wands with that fire horse, sleeping phoenix energy. Fire phoenix. A lot of fire and electricity going on. So there's a lot of air and a lot of fire this year. Fire horse, obviously, but there's also a lot of air. We're in the Aquarius, which is an air sign. Eclipse with 5. We were talking about 5 planets, and of course, the North Node is more of a calculation of the North Node of the Moon that are wrapped up in this. There's a lot going on, and you can't. It's like you can't dismantle one thing that they're trying to do in the mainstream versus another thing they're trying to do in the mainstream versus another. No. They're all interconnected. It's an intricate web that's been woven. You can't separate one current event from another, because it's all coming down. All the evil is being taken out. Again, not all at once, but it is happening. These things are happening. All right, let's get a believe in your own magic. Just kind of you tuning back into your spirit, utilizing your own power. What do those of us watching now and on the replay, in alignment with our true spirits, need to know for ourselves? We were just talking about Tower, right? But this is such a great card in this specific deck. We have the Tower, which is the 3. Unplug and relax for a spell. So she's like literally creating like a tower. And this is about you anchoring your energy into your own, you think of a tower as something that you utilize for defense. Usually in the olden days, they'd get in the tower and then they'd use their bow and arrows and they'd be able to see off into the distance and have like the bird's eye view, seeing the bigger picture. You will be able to see the bigger picture when you're able to unplug and relax for a spell. And that really does go in alignment with these cards we got earlier as well. So yes, just because towers are falling, systems are collapsing and crumbling, and, things are getting very loud out there, you can mindfully create pockets of your life, your reality, your day, week, month, year that are going to be very soothing and relaxing and empowering and filling your own cup back up so that you can get back out there and do your thing, whatever that looks like for you. All right, I feel like I need to get one more. I think they're kind of buried under this stack, but we're gonna get them. Okay, put those back. Those can go over there. Okay, we're digging it out because I want these ones. The Animal Apothecary. Closing statement before we get into our donations. Those of us watching now and on the replay of these eclipse energies and just what's coming over these next 6 months. Of course, we'll do another little maybe mini check-in with the lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse still has a lot of potency, but it's usually the solar eclipse. This is like the big bad of the triggers of like the energy. And then the lunar eclipse really does tell how we're emotionally going to deal with the eclipse cycle. And the sun usually is how we're spiritually dealing with it, but also boots on the ground, how your ego or just the 3D is looking a lot of time. That's how I see the eclipses anyway. If you resonate somehow different, that's totally cool. Woo! Okay, so we have 2 from this deck. But we were talking about our fire horse this whole time. Tame and attain. And there's that taming energy again. Quieting the mind, willing the release, resting and recuperating, unplug and relax and unwind for a while. And we have the number 28, which is the new beginning, the number 1 universal year we're in. This is very much on par, on trend with the fire horse. And then we have the card coming in. They came out together, so they're very potent and powerful together. Magnetism through gratitude. So the more gratitude that you can feel for your life, your significant other, your loved ones, your income, your home, the flowers that are growing in your garden, your dogs, your whatever. The more gratitude and just realizing how blessed you are can really amplify you being able to attain that abundance and magnetize the timelines, the opportunities, the events, the re-evolution that is meant for you on a spiritual level. And then we have the number 31, which of course is that inverse of that 13 that we were talking about so much yesterday, that divine feminine, death and rebirth, psychic energy that we all have such access to right now, and just over these next years. It's not gonna turn off. That's the thing, is a lot of times, if we were feeling we're in the very like psychic or intuitive time of our life for 3 months or a month or a week, and then it kind of goes back into the background for a little bit, but then you realize, I'm having another power surge of like internal knowing again. It may still power surge and kind of go back to normal, but you're never going to be feeling like you're out of it again. Like moving forward or from here on out, you're never going to feel like, oh, I'm not intuitive at all. It's only going to ebb and flow to increase. And it may be like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You'll never slide back to less intuitive than you were, like the average that you would be, if that makes sense. I hope that's making sense. I'm seeing it in my mind. I'm not articulating it very well. You're only going to become more and more intuitive in alignment with your spirit. Intuitive as to what is the best relationship for me? What is the best opportunity? I have 3 opportunities in front of me and I only have the time to prioritize one. What is my priority? Instead of making a wrong choice, or what we would maybe deem later down the road a wrong choice, we're going to be able to zone in or hone in on the one that is best and meant for us and take it and run with it in ways that we have not been able to do ever in this incarnation yet. So keep that in mind as you're making your decisions and, taking care of yourself and your family and living your purpose. Just keep all of that in mind. Okay. I may be accessing this again, but I'm just going to put it away just to slightly tidy up my very unruly desk here. Oh, the Tower card was from the Believe in Your Own Magic by Amanda Lovelace. Such a fun deck, such a cool deck. I love it so much. And it was very fitting for our Divine Feminine big readings that we did yesterday that I had to use it again today. So, yes, I already put our feather card back, I think. Yes. Oh, and then we have the sun on the back of the deck. Solar eclipse much. Yes. Okay, so we're going to be getting into our donations. After I put a few things away, take a quick drink of water. I feel like my words, like my mind and mouth motor is not operating in all cylinders today. See, even I said cylinders weird. K2 in the 3rd house. I'm already weird, so it's fine. You guys don't care probably. And anyone new coming in is probably like, who is this? I'm out. It's fine. It's fine. We're all fine. Oh, I did not put the feather back. It's right here. Well, I can still do that. So, yes, I will update the donation list here momentarily. Looks like we got another. So far, I saw we had one from Katie, one from Jessa. Oh, my mom always sends the kids $25 each for their Valentines, so she sent that earlier. PayPal notifications for days. I still haven't deleted the notifications from yesterday, so it looks like PayPal, 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 PayPal. Not a bad thing, but it's very cool. All right, let's put this one back. And Jessa, I do need to get back to you, your texts. Yesterday was after I got off the live stream, like I realized I had like 3 things I forgot I was going to do before doing all the things. And so I was like scrambling and rushing and trying to get everything done. The first basketball game, remember that I said was canceled. Actually, yes, technically was canceled, but the coach was still going to just hold, because we still had the gym space. It was just the other team only had 4 players. You need at least 5 to have a basketball team. 4 players because the other 6 were sick. 6 of his 10 players were sick, so they had to forfeit the game. But because we had the gym time, Wrigley's coach was like, well, let's just hold a scrimmage, 5-on-5. We have 10 kids. hold a scrimmage. So they did that, but I didn't get to go to that because I had to make that candle, or, it was already made. I had to put the prettiness on top and do the painting of the pieces and all the things. And that took me about an hour for the candle. I had to figure out some dinner stuff, but we just kind of did a very lazy girl dinner kind of thing last night. It was fun. And then I had that party, that Galentine's Day party to go to. It was so fun. I got we each brought gifts, and my gift was from like it's like a budding friendship. I really love this lady. I swear all of my local friends are so much older than me. Like my best friend that's local here, she just turned 69 on the 4th of this month. So she's like 20 some years older than me. And then this friend, she just turned 59 in December. So like all my like local friends are like not a lot older than me, but like they're very much in their crone energy, and I'm so here for it. I love it so much. But I got her gift, and it was to a store. It was a gift card and some other fun little candies and stuff too. But she, I guess, knows the lady that was working there. I don't know if she owns it or works there or what, but she's like, we had a $20 limit on our card, or our gift thing. But she's like, it was supposed to be a $20 gift card, but she just gave me a discount and gave a $25 gift card. So I got a $25 gift card to, it's called Refined Gray, spelled Grey, the best way to spell gray, right, Jessa? Jessa Gray, which is a really cool, like, boutique, like a high-end clothing and jewelry and home decor. I've never even heard of the store, but I Googled it. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to go to go look at this place and use my gift card. So that was very fun. Oh, you donated. So numbers are being a thing today. 35 and 53, like my TF hand. Oh my gosh, right? And we got the 53, and I said 35 inverse with that one card. What card was it? I already forget. The feather. I think that was, I just put it back on top, didn't I? Because I already put the rest of that. I think it was 53, but I was saying 35. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. That's probably why you're saying it. So you like, duh, man, I already know that. I'm just a little slow to the uptake today, apparently. All right. Well, yeah. And I have dirty fingernails this morning that I didn't quite get all the dirt out of because I was checking soil levels to water a bunch of plants this morning. So ignore the dirty nails. I tried. This is authenticity at its finest. When you have plants and you're checking their levels, you got to stick your finger in the soil to know what's up. You can't just trust the surface. You got to get in there, Very funny. Okay, let's catch up on comments. We don't have too many, but I'd like to do that. We'll update our donation list, and then we're going to get into all the donations for today. Yeah, Jessica got some interference. Getting her downloads, doing her hair. I love that. So potent. Yes, real activation, graduation, recalibration. I love all those words. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day to you as well, Crazy Tempest. Thank you so much. Work it, Elysium. Yes. Oh, cool. Thank you. You're so welcome, Katie. It was such a powerful reading, and it felt like it was very much associated with your reading with your grandmother. And again, I'm so sorry about the passing of your grandmother. That's very hard. Big hugs to you, Katie. Yeah. Oh, hello, Linda. Oh, I did answer your question already, but hi, Linda. I don't think I actually said hi. So hi. Hi, Brianna. Hi, Crazy Tempest. Hi, Katie. Hi, Jessa. Hi, everybody. If I missed anyone, I apologize. Let's see. Oh, I donated. So yeah, being a thing today. Yeah. Hey, they give good stories of the good years. That is true. All right. Well, we're going to get into our donations, which we have Katie, message from Stacy. Let me just make sure we didn't have, yeah, that one's from yesterday. Yeah. Okay. So message from Stacy, and then we will have Jessa on deck. And that's what we have so far. So if anyone else is looking for a reading today, go ahead and donate, and then we can get into your question momentarily. And I'm going to, again, I felt so like, yeah, I could do this when I was able to stick to my timer yesterday. I'm not going to be as strict with it because we have less readings today, but if I need to wrap up a thought or finish a thought when the timer goes off, of course I'm going to do that. and maybe even pull another card or two after the timer, but you guys know me. I just do what I do. Okay. So let's go to Katie. A message from Stacy. Timer. All right. And again, we're using the Dreams Within Dreams Tarot. This one was very powerful yesterday, so we're going to keep it moving. We use it in our Eclipse reading. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go for Katie. Message from Stacy to Katie. What does Stacy would like Katie to know right now? Ooh, we have the Two of Coins, Two of Pentacles. A lot is being balanced in her life right now. She is feeling like she's kicking butt and taking names with some stuff, but she knows the second that she steps away from kind of more mundane daily tasks and things that are going on, that some of these priority things are going to fall. Or if she goes hyper focused on these priority things, the dishes are going to pile up, the laundry's going to pile up, all the household things are going to be like, we only have so much life force that we can pour into so many things before we feel completely tapped out. And she has been the past few, I see days to a week, just been very invested in something that has been taking a lot of her focus, something she's trying to build. This could be with her work or something to do with her. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm seeing two kids, and doing something with the two children, or connecting with both of them together, like almost like the three of them are doing something fun together. Right. We have the Knight of Swords and the Empress. Yeah, she is very much embodying that mother energy right now. Oh, two sons in their 20s. There you go. So this really is about her stepping into that mother role, but also finding a new way to mother, because if you're, I love my mother-in-law, but she still acts like the mother, and that all of her kids are under the age of 18, and she has the authority to tell them what to do, or you need to knock it off, or whatever, just as an example. I see Stacy stepping into this authority of, I'm your mother and I'll always love you, but like, your decisions are your own. I will be here to support you, not tell you what to do. So it's like an opposite of like what my mother-in-law tries to do with her kids, who are all in their 40s and one is closer to 50 at this point. That is like a holding on to of power, but Stacy's almost like acting as like passing this torch of power, not even because it's like, oh, this is what I have to do. Like she's wanting to do this because she wants to be able to focus on the current household that she has, anyone else living in the household, herself, her own passions, her own wants, needs, and desires are becoming kind of front and center for her at this time, because they have been on the back burner for so long. And her message to you is similarly, of course, I think, Katie, you still have a child that's at home, very much, young, and needs that parenting, but it's almost like you're reparenting yourself at this time. So it's kind of like she's stepping away from the parenting role of like the control part. She's still very much a support and a love and all those nurturing things that mothers do, but in a more healthy, balanced way to allow adult children to do their thing. And that kind of the mirror effect for you is you're finding ways with the child that you have that is at home, finding ways to nurture her, but also allowing her to find a bit of independence and a bit more independence as she gets older and older and older, to where when she is able to go off on her own, she's not going to feel lost. Like a lot of people today, I'll just take just as a personal example, I know somebody in my life that is not really in my life. We don't really talk to them or anything, but someone I know, we'll put it that way, that they very much just wanted their children to never leave home. And I'm not talking about my mother-in-law. This is someone else. Never want their children to leave home. Didn't give them any real basic life skills, even basic life skills to like be able to make it on their own. And these kids are all in their 20s to even late 20s, just still all living at home, or very, very codependent on especially their mother, but also their father. This is giving the exact opposite of that. This is very much about potentially reparenting yourself, but also your own daughter and giving her those skills, those tools that you never got growing up because, it's not that your parents dropped the ball. It's just back, when we were all growing up and, whatever generation specifically that you're in, Katie, um, parents didn't know what they know now. Or, that the energy just didn't support the level of healing that those of us that are parents with younger to youngish children right now can really capitalize on these beautiful energies that are allowing us to do our own healing so we don't have to shove all that baggage down the family line, down generations. We're like, oh, that's the last thing I want to do is put all my trauma on these children. I'm going to deal with the bulk. I'll take the brunt of it and I'll try to not allow even one thing to slip through the cracks. I mean, it always does, obviously, and no one's perfect, but it's like you are giving yourself that parentage that you never got, but also allowing yourself to operate as this very independent individual with the loving, mothering support of the mother that you are now to that inner child and inner teen and inner early 20-year-old, like early 20s. I feel like there's a kind of a time span in your specific early 20s, Katie, that you are kind of almost reparenting or acting as more of an old, not so much a mother, but an older sister to your own self. So that's Stacy's message is like, yeah, just keep doing what's working because you are doing a lot of healing and a lot of, it's not even that you're becoming someone new. You're just rediscovering who you are on a soul level and allowing those, pieces of you that don't really need to be there and shouldn't have been there in the first place to just kind of slough away. And again, it's just programming that we've all been susceptible to. Yes, reparenting myself. Yeah. Oh, you're fine, Katie. I was going to say, because you did donate 2222 Wednesday, which that live stream couldn't happen because they were updating my fiber cable, whatever it's called, in the area. I didn't have internet. And then yesterday we had 1313 readings. So I did your 2222 reading yesterday. So technically you're good. Like, you're good. And in fact, I could probably even give you a 1-card pull because you've kind of overpaid at this point, if that makes sense. But thank you. I appreciate that. You're so sweet. I ordered her some flowers to be delivered on her birthday next week. Oh my gosh. That's so fun. Yeah, she will definitely enjoy those. Yeah, she's very grateful. There's this with that Empress and the Knight of Swords, you're most likely going to be hearing from her like a big thank you or something of the sort, because yeah, she's very much just feels so loved and cared for and accepted and all the fun things. So very cool. All right, Jessa Gray. All right. So I think it was work stuff. Let me just make sure. Going over to email, PayPal, email. Yes. Okay. 1-card pull, job stuff. What gives? Right. What gives? What is happening right now? I'm frustrated on your behalf. Like, this is insane. Okay. Clearing the field of any obstruction, interference, hijacking, any of it. Just pure spirit. Brass tacks. What the F is going on for Jessa in this job search? What is going on? Ooh, look at that. Temperance. Okay, look at that. Look at the beautiful reflection. But those dark wings that she has here in her reflection have turned white. So there is almost this like alchemization, transmutation. I'm getting a very divine feminine, divine masculine, yin yang kind of energy here. Again, going back to the twin flame stuff, I just saw when I was trying to see my notification thing, it said something about streaming and twin flames. And so I will definitely have to read that. But like, this is already giving, yeah, 2 jobs that were perfect that turned you down. It's insane. But there's something going on here that you have more control over the situation than you understand or that you can see at this time. Let's see what is it that Jessa has control over that she cannot see? What does she have control over in this job search situation that she cannot see? Yeah, 12-12 at where I'm at. Ooh, King of Wands. There's that Phoenix rising from the ashes, and then the 10 of Cups. Okay, all of this is pointing to twin flame stuff. All of this. So it's almost like you are reclaiming your divine masculine to, instead of like, please give me the job, please, I'm perfect for this job. It's like, no, I'm taking the job because it's mine. It's mine. I mean, you're doing it a very tactful way, obviously, but it's like you are stepping into that masculine energy and like, this job was literally made for me and it's mine. Why did you give it to someone else? More, not that you're like reaching out and asking that, but like energetically speaking, you're commanding your presence to be known. You're commanding the space to take up space and claim what is rightfully yours. Let's just see what interference is still in the way. Actually, we're going to go to the hidden. We're going to also pull one from that, but I wanted to grab one of these first. What lies beneath the hidden future oracle? What is still somehow standing in the way of Jessa being able to sign some contract for a new job? What is it? What is standing in her way? It says bad choices, but this is not your bad choice. This is them making a bad choice by going with not you, obviously. But look, it's almost like the spirit had kind of possessed this person and now it's like coming out like smoke, or like they're breathing it back out. They came in to sabotage the people because these people that are in charge of these hiring decisions aren't probably cleansing their field and making sure they're making their decisions in alignment with true spirit. So it's like the backdoor way of them being able to control this situation, or seemingly control this situation, because they're working through the people or the entities that are attached to the people making these hiring decisions. Yeah, I've sent 2 professional emails asking what gives on the Silfab job. I mean, I don't blame you. All right, can we see what's going on behind the scenes with those emails and anything standing in the way of Jessa's communication being heard in a spiritual, echoey way? It's like that. Again, this is not a person. This is more that spirit of delay, spirit of infiltration, or, keeping those of us who have a mission off mission by making us feel unworthy, undeserving, undesired. This is shifting. This is shifting big time. Let's get a clarifier on that hater. Energetically, physically, literally, emotionally, mentally. What do we need to know about this hater? Stop, break, pause, and stagnation. You have the power to stop any hater. And this hater specifically is just the matrix be doing what it do. The matrix programming running as this hater to keep someone who needs to be shining somehow suppressed or almost eclipsed within yourself. But if you feel so inclined, even starting now, today's Saturday. This is a great day for any ritual work that you have where you're wanting to cleanse, clear, banish, release karma, send karma where it needs to go, whatever your flavor of the week is with that. But this is very much you can take any candle. It doesn't have to be the reversal or any of that. You can take any candle that you don't already have like an association with. This is my money candle. This is my job candle. This is my whatever. It could be a dollar store candle. It could be whatever. A birthday candle, whatever. Take a candle and just say, as this candle burns, so does the energy of the matrix that is suppressing me from my true path. And that will help. Fire specifically, we are entering that. We're 3 days away from the year of the fire horse taking root, and we're kind of still in that so we're kind of in that transitionary period of the, I think it was was it the wood snake? I think it was the wood snake. I can't remember the element, but it was the snake, the year of the snake, which is cunning, and it can be like, it strikes out of nowhere, but also it's about cleansing, clearing the feminine, shedding the old skin, shedding all of this hater energy, you being overlooked because they can't get it through their thick head that you are the best candidate. I mean, it's come out over and over and over again. You are the best candidate for these jobs, and they can see it on the surface, like they see it, but it's something like lights are on, but no one's home. They can't click to realize, no, she is the best candidate here. And in fact, it's actually harming their business that they can't see it. One more. Let's get some guidance and empowerment here for Jessa. Guidance and empowerment in moving forward. Oh, you're not supposed to clean in Chinese New Year. Oh, there you go. Well, maybe you're just literally, saying F the rules, F the matrix and all their systems and structures. Because that's, just because they say Saturday is the day to clear karma doesn't mean you can't do it on a random Wednesday, Mercury day. Or, ooh, not supposed to clean during Chinese New Year. Well, I'm a divine being. So who's to tell me what I can and can't do? If I feel the intuitive need and desire to cleanse, I'm going to effing cleanse. So please honor yourself over any shoulda, woulda, couldas or supposed tos that are out there because your true spirit knows better than following all these, rules or, you know, again, structures. These are all structures of the matrix. Not to say that we can't use them for our benefit because we absolutely can. Um, but as we step into our authority more, we're going to be able to override the matrix and their systems, their zodiacs, their numerologies, their Chinese zodiacs and all the things. We're going to be able to start really overriding those to the point where, like I was saying yesterday, some of the astrology and human design and all this stuff just won't add up anymore because we become such embodied spiritual beings that we don't have boxes and limits anymore. But a great place to start when you're awakening and even on your journey of awakening to know at least what the matrix has planned for you or where they kind of set your glass ceiling is to know your human design, is to know your astrology. Sometimes you got to know the rules so you can break them accordingly. And I think you're really great at knowing the rules so you can work around them or question, well, why is that a rule? I don't sign up for that rule. Yeah, I'm cleaning and cleansing beforehand. There you go. I love it. Cool. Yeah, just do what feels most resonant for you. On the back of the deck, we have calm and inner peace, simplicity and meditation. So after you do your big cleansing and clearing and all that, allow yourself time to process and integrate and rest and recuperate. Because think of us cleansing or purging our house. It's almost like us cleansing or purging our physical body. In the process of the cleansing and purging, it can feel chaotic and get even more messy before it gets clean. Think of digging everything out of a pantry. The whole place gets messier before it gets cleaner. And when your physical body is cleansing or decluttering or purging, you can feel sicker before you get better again. So if you are feeling kind of off these next few days, that could be why. Yeah. But the residual effects after that is you just feel so light and free and almost like that phoenix that's able to rise from those ashes because you've done the cleansing and the clearing and the cleaning. Absolutely. All right. So let's see. Oh, Jessica has sent me an image. A couple images. Ooh, something going on. Glitches in the matrix. Oh, it's your email. I will read that because I don't think the whole live stream needs this is on a need to know basis. Awesome. Well, I hope that helps. Again, there's a lot of matrix tricks going on right now. And this kind of period between now and that cross of the sleeping phoenix is going to feel very chaotic. This eclipse portal always can get us kind of feeling off kilter or ungrounded, unbalanced. So my best information or advice to everybody watching, especially you, Jessa, since this is still kind of the end of your reading, is when you're feeling unsure, anxious, restless, ungrounded, stuck, stagnant, whatever, ground, center, shield. You know all about that. But just doing it and maybe even finding fun, fanciful new ways to do your GCS. Maybe you're going down near the water. Maybe you're getting out in nature. I don't know what your weather's like over there. It's funny enough, we actually did get some snow this morning. If we can see that. It's kind of already melting, but like it's there. Most snow we've had all year. Yeah, crazy, huh? Yeah, there's already like buds on all my trees out back and has been since January 31st, which was Arthur's birthday. I was out there throwing one of his new toys he loves to retrieve. It's that 20% golden retriever in him, I guess. I was throwing his little ring for him and noticing little buds on the trees. And now they're huge buds about to become leaves. We are at February 14th. I don't know if Montana got the memo. This type of stuff doesn't happen till April 14th. around here. So what's going on? It's crazy. Yeah. But even if your weather isn't the best, just being able to get out and breathe the fresh air. Yeah, I know it's mixed with the matrix stuff, but if you can set the intention that you're going to get the pure codes of the breath of life as you breathe in the fresh air, or as fresh of air as you can get, you can bypass all of the stuff that's in it that's not for your benefit. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us today. It feels short and sweet compared to yesterday. I think we were live almost 4 hours yesterday. It was 3 hours and something, if I remember right. Yeah, it was a long one, but I had so much fun. It was a powerful one. Today was a pretty powerful one, just tuning into this energy and knowing that we are moving through some crazy stuff. And yes, we may feel off kilter, off balance, like everything's falling apart, but sometimes the false has to fall apart so that the true and real can fall into place or be unearthed. It's not even like we're having to go find new things. These things, these structures, these things, who we truly are already exists in its in totality and entirety, is what I'm hearing. It's just about unearthing it, because all the stuff that's piled up, all the garbage, and it's like a hoarding episode, really. The hoarding, buried alive, and hoarders episodes of maybe there's some real treasures in that hoarder house, but we got to go dig them and excavate them out almost. When we embroil spirit into the false matrix, that's almost what we have to do, is act as like hoarding architect or hoarding archaeologists, not architects, archaeologists. Very eighth house energy, going in to dig to the most valuable pieces of who we are not usually on the surface. And in fact, they're usually hidden somewhere within our shadow, because the matrix doesn't want us looking in our shadow. That's too scary. We can't go there. But that's where the true gold and the true diamonds, or the true whatever is the most valuable thing you think there is out there, it's truly you. Your true spirit is the most valuable thing that exists. And it's usually, the keys to unlock usually even more of your potential are usually found within your eighth house. Not always, but a lot of the time. You can find some stuff all over the chart if you're wanting to go look for it. But eighth house, and then of course, wherever your house of Scorpio falls, will be a very big indication of where you have maybe your spirit has maybe hidden things away from the matrix, but it in effect has also kind of hidden it from you. But because you are your spirit, you remember, or you left yourself a little breadcrumb trail. And sometimes we're so distracted and in our heads and doing whatever that we don't even see the breadcrumbs in front of us. It's when we ground center and shield, we get back to us, back in touch and quieting our mind, that we can start to pick up those breadcrumbs again and follow it. And it's not going to lead us astray. It's not going to lead us like the candy trail into Hansel and Gretel's witch house. I love how, by the way, I love how they always would demonize the old witch living alone in the woods, like she's the bad guy. I think maybe someday I need to rewrite that whole story to like the true essence of the crone or the witch, Put it on my long list of maybe someday I'll write list. Yes. All right, you guys, I love you so much. This was fun. It was kind of interesting to go live 2 days in a row. I used to do it all the time back in the day, but yeah, I used to do like definitely a Saturday was kind of my main day when I very first started. Oh, your eighth house is Aquarius and your point of fortune. And I want to say, well, in Vedic astrology, it might be different because whatever. Oh, so some of your greatest gifts may be hidden in your children, obviously. Fifth house children. That's the most obvious duh of the fifth house, but your creative projects, your like speculative, like your divination, psychic abilities can be found, and also your good karmas from past lives can also be found in your fifth house. If you've hidden a lot of your own good karma away from yourself until you can awaken and discover it. And then it's like, boom, the rest of your life, the best of your life. Yeah, amazing. I have Aquarius in my fifth house. So all of this is going down in my fifth house right now. Bring it on. I am ready for some really good romanticizing life again. Your romance is also associated with the fifth house, but not just like partnership romance, but like you falling back in love with life is associated with the 5th house. I am here for it. I have been already feeling this energy, like just falling back in love with like my project, my family, my friends, life in general. I've been waking up like ready to like put my feet on the ground and get going for the day rather than, ugh, it's 6:30 already. Like, what is going on? Odin's Aquarius rising. Yeah, so is Ryan. And then Boston is an Aquarius sun and moon. And then Wrigley is, I don't think Wrigley has Aquarius, but yeah, lots of Leo. Lots of Leo in this house. Leo risings and then the boys, and then Ryan's moon is Leo. So, oh yeah, lots of Leo. Lots of Virgo energy too between Wrigley, Ryan, and I. Ryan's sun, my Mars, Saturn, and in Hellenistic astrology, even my ascendant, and Wrigley's moon and Saturn. He has moon and Saturn. Oh, wait, no. No, his Saturn is in Scorpio. What else? I think he had 2 things in Virgo. Well, definitely his moon. Moon is mother, moon is mind. He has that in the 2nd house. So apparently, I'm going to be leaving him some money or assets. That's what that means. Eventually. Maybe not right now. I'm working on it. Eventually, maybe, huh? Both of them are Saturn ruled rising, Virgo sun, and Libra moon, and Venus Leo. I love that. That's so cool. Yeah, I know Boston has like 5 planets in Aquarius. I can't remember what they all are. Sun and moon for sure. Mars for sure. I don't remember what the other ones are though. I need to look at their charts more often to where I can like integrate them and remember. But Boston is going to be having all sorts of fun times in this eclipse because he's got 5 planets there. And then, of course, whatever planets he doesn't have there that are just transiting there, it's going to activate those planets in his chart. So he's going to be having almost like a 14-year life crisis. I don't know. But in a good way. Like this is unveiling the parts of us that are not self, that are not truly who we are. So ultimately is working in, even though the matrix is doing what it does, we will find a way to make the most of these bad things or find the silver lining in the cloud of perpetual rain of this matrix. We will find the silver lining if do or die or till we bust, whatever. All right, yes, I was going to say goodbye. So I'm going to say goodbye, you guys. Have a great rest of your everything. I will be back here Wednesday. That will be post-eclipse. So I will see you on the 18th, which is Wednesday next week at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Thanks again so much for all those likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations, and all the things. And I really, truly do hope to see each and every one of you right back here at Harmony Portal Tarot Live. Until next time, bye, everyone.